I think we are. How's that? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can I turn it a little bit? Maybe a little bit. Like this, just a little bit. Give a little bit. There we go. Over my shoulder. You know what? Probably looks better if we put it right here. Like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yes. Oh, come on now. Look at that timer. Look at that timer. Woo! Look at that timer. Hold on. Be right back. As soon as we're done, we got a test to take. Today is gonna be off the chain. Off the chain. It'll be off the chain. Get ready for, oh my gosh, dude, today's show. And it's a magical Monday, bro. You know it is, man. Mm, mm. Powerful. Kindle. Amazon Kindle. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. The world's most annoying clock when it goes off. It's true, y'all. It is that annoying. It's magical Monday. We're good morning, Justin. You good, man? All systems go. I love it. We're live. We're live. We're live. Coming from a guy that does not know how to sing. Oh my word. Good morning, business builders, and welcome to Business for Breakfast. Well, business is the most important middle of the day. I'm your host, Aaron Novinger, the Venti Business Guy, otherwise known as VBG. Our goal in this show is to make you 1% smarter today by unpacking business news over the last 24 hours, sprinkled in with tips and tricks to help you mind your own business. All right, all right, all right. Now, I always say that you guys are here to have this dude make you laugh a little on the way to work. You learn, you get inspired, you get a little encouraged, which these are all important things. But most of you guys, when you get here first thing, it's for the daily thing, it's the morning mark, it's the one thing. The City Slickers, one thing, curly one thing. And by the way, for all you millennials and Gen Zers, you talk about one of the greatest comedy bits ever with City Slickers. Okay. Some of the most iconic comedic actors of all time in that one movie. Absolute brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. City Slickers, the one thing. Why do we all love it? Because there's no props required, no drinks, no gear. It's just you and a functioning brain. We'll work with what we've got wherever you are, desk, truck, kitchen, job site, standing or sitting. It don't matter. Pick one thing you will finish today. Not a list, not 10, not 3, just one. Now, mark it mentally and write it down. That is the line in the sand. That's the thing the day doesn't get to erase. That's the pause that sharpens the edge, the moment that turns noise into signal. It's the tiny act that makes business owners dangerous in a good way. That, my friends, is your morning mark. Your day's officially started. All right, business builders, buckle up, buttercup, and let's ride, shall we? All right, all right. We're talking about an amazing day. But, before we get started, right? No. We'll jump into it because I'll do a little promo here in a little bit. I'll do some dad jokes in a minute. But I'm so glad that you're on, bro. We've got a couple weeks. And we're heading out, bro. 2 weeks from today, man. And the cardio workouts are pretty intensive. Yesterday was 2 hours on the bike at the gym while I was studying for the test that I have as soon as I finish up today. Um, WGU, if I can give a little plug for this school, um, for people like us that have full-time gigs and it's competency based. And so they let you basically pay for a 6 month term. It's as many classes as you can get through in that 6 month term. And so I basically needed to finish my business degree for by the end of the year. And I'll tell you, man, one of the crazy things about it was I thought, okay, I'm going to bust it. I'll get it done in a year. And to be honest with you, if everything goes the way it's supposed to, I'm graduating next Friday Eve. Like, I'll turn in my capstone project, Friday morning, and then I leave to go pick up Justin and then, pick him up in Missouri. We come back here, and then Monday, we hit the road for 3rd annual Pedaling Against Ponzi's, um, I don't know, charity ride where we raise awareness for victims of financial crimes and Ponzi schemes, and we promote the IRS Form 4684 Section C. 99% of individuals, including accountants, don't even know that this exists. Where somebody that's affected has the ability to write this off and to get basically a dollar for dollar income credit. And the amount of people that this has helped is countless, but almost nobody knows about it. So we take 6 weeks, man, and we just beat the tar out of the country. Anybody that gives us, a little bit of an outlet, we just broadcast this mission. And so this is last year's shirt, 2nd annual. You'll see this year. Yes, right. PAP. Bro, what's funny is I had I when I first did the first year, I was doing it to raise like awareness for Ponzi schemes. So I was doing like peddling for Ponzi's, but it wasn't for Ponzi's, it's for Ponzi awareness. And then one of the clients was like, "Hey, you might want to change it to peddling against Ponzi's." And I was like, "Yeah, know what? You're exactly right." So, and if you look at my Evernote notebook for this charity ride, it's labeled PAP. That's right, Justin. Our brains are so dialed in and in sync. It's kind of scary. I was literally nerding out yesterday about the amount of marketing ideas and ideas that are you and I are going to come up with over the next 6 weeks, putting us together. People don't understand. It's like putting like electricity and a like a proton together and creating like what the CERN collider creates, like different portals and dimensions and stuff. That's what's about to happen with me and you, bro. Mark my words. Mm. By the way, I got some new ashwagandha tea bags and some new ashwagandha pills, which I think is really going to help activate the. And if you can't tell, this dude's got crazy ADHD. But if we can, let's jump into this day in history because it's going to blow your mind, your face, and your head off your body. Okay, okay, okay. This day in history. What? No way. Okay, so 1888, the introduction of the gramophone disc patent. It was demonstrated earlier in the US by Emily Berliner's flat disc gramophone system, but the gramophone system was gaining major traction in Europe patent offices around this time. This was a monumental leap in media engineering and data storage logistics, standardizing lateral cut grooves on a flat surface. Literally, this is like the beginning of the record. 1888. Like crazy. It doesn't that just blow your mind that so many things that we think about today that we literally don't even give a second thought to, like our hard drive space. You understand that it's just a disk that's got grooves cut like insanely close and data is stored on each of these grooves. Like, what? Huh? Like, oh yeah, we basically store like sound in these grooves. Huh? How is that possible? Yeah, 1888 was the very beginning of it. This day in history, 1920, the first turn of the water engineering gates at the Hoover Dam. No freaking way, bro. And by the way, it is one of the most impressive tours that you can ever do. And just be prepared that the tour guide is going to say dam tour and say the word damn at least 20 times during the tour. And by the way, you will also have damn jokes. And also, you will laugh at everybody's damn jokes. I don't know, dude. It's just being there. You're just like, oh my God, I'm just like giddy because this is so unbelievably impressive. But Significant hydrological survey data was finalized today, marking a critical milestone in the civil engineering prep for what would become the Boulder Canyon project. It proved that large scale fluid dynamics could be calculated and harnessed to power an entire regional economy, a masterclass in infrastructural logistics. That, the first turn of the water engineering gates. Wow. Mm. This day in history, 1953, the debut of the transistorized airborne radar concept. Around this time, aviation engineering teams were finalizing the first schematics for compact transistor based weather radar for civil transport aircraft. For a pilot, this was the technological big bang that moved aviation away from fragile vacuum tube instruments toward the high performance, technically advanced systems we have today. When I got my POTS license last year, I did it in what it was considered a TAA, technically advanced aircraft. I did it in the airplane had a G1000, which is what they consider a glass cockpit, and everything is literally by like little transistors and like um, gyroscopes and little like it's all data systems and electronics. It's insane that the beginning of that was today in 1953. Wow. And by the way, you guys know our little handshake agreement. That was us, by the way, shaking hands with rubber gloves. But um, my agreement, my handshake agreement is I'm going to make you laugh or learn something today. But your agreement with me, we all know this, is that you've got to like and or subscribe. New channel. I think this is episode 54 or 59. I don't know. I'm in the 50s. Okay. Maybe 58. I don't know where I'm at. 57. Who knows? All I know is we're in the 50s. And all I know is we need your support and assistance. Right. All right. All right. Let's see. What else is going on this day in history? Oh, no way. 1944, the Battle of Monte Cassino concludes. Not Monte Cristo, Monte Cassino. We're not talking about the amazing crispy sandwich. We're talking about a battle. After months of brutal fighting, Polish forces captured the ruins of the historic Benedictine monastery in Italy, allowing Allied forces to break through the German Gustav Line. This remains a somber and critical study in military logistics, terrain analysis, and the high stakes cost of structural breakthroughs. No way. Wow. This day in history, check this out. Got a couple other great ones. Napoleon, 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte is proclaimed Emperor of the French. French Senate passed a bill officially changing the government structure from a republic to an empire. This was a massive geopolitical and social shift, leading to the creation of the Napoleonic Code, a foundational legal framework that completely rewrote the civil law systems of continental Europe and Louisiana. Not sure why Louisiana, but it did. Mm. This tea is off the chain. 1974, India conducts its first nuclear test. They call it the Smiling Buddha. You got it. I can't make it up, bro. India successfully detonated an underground nuclear device at Pokhran, becoming the first nation outside the permanent five members of the UN Security Council to demonstrate such capability. This was a definitive shift in the geopolitical mapping of South Asia and global non-proliferation proliferation tracking. Now, can we get into some famous birthdays? How about George Strait, 1952? Today, bro, the king of country and a proud Texas native. Bro, you talk about 60 number one hits. 60. That's 6-0. Okay. His ability to maintain a high performance standard over 4 decades mirrors the stamina, authenticity, and grit you value in business and our celebrity athletes. Unbelievable. Frank Capra, this day in history, 1897, Academy Award winning director of It's a Wonderful Life and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. No flipping way. Arguably, I say arguably, why would I put that word in front of what I'm about to say? No, without question, my favorite Christmas movie of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. We have a tradition in our house. It's basically on a constant loop the day after Thanksgiving until basically January 1st. And I watch it probably 20 to 30 times during the holidays. And I don't know. I've always, and I think so much of it just resonates with me and George Bailey. Like I feel like I'm 50% George Bailey. Like I've got my own Bedford Falls I'm trying to save. from the evil Mr. Potter, from Pottersville, like, I don't know. But dude, you talk about if this dude was not born, we would not have It's a Wonderful Life. Insane. And I'm sure Mr. Smith Goes to Washington is probably just as amazing, but I've never seen it. But It's a Wonderful Life, mind bending, man. Absolutely mind bending. Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, the Hall of Fame baseball icon, known for his high stakes clutch performance under maximum pressure. Wow, dude. Somebody else has a birthday today. Pope John Paul II, 1920. As one of the global diplomatic influences in strategic leadership. Pope John II. I'm pretty sure. Let me just make sure I get a picture of this dude. You have to understand, I was born Catholic and got confirmed as Catholic. Yes, bro. Growing up, he was my Pope, man. Pope John Paul II. As Catholics, it was like Jesus, like the podium for Catholics. Obviously, Jesus, then Mary, right behind him, silver, and then the bronze is always the Pope. That to Catholics is the trifecta, the three unity God. Okay, Jesus's mom, and whoever's running the Catholic Church, right? Who basically runs Vatican. That's number three. And this dude, bro, and I just remember him like traveling around in the amazing station wagon Pope Mobile that looked like a hearse, but then had like this bubble cut out the top, like this, like, and the guy would just be back there like waving through this like the most oddly looking car you've ever seen. And a few years ago, Rebecca and I were able to go to. We had some friends that lived in Rome, and so they're like, "Hey, you just get out here. You can stay with us and travel and go look at everything." We're like, "You don't have to ask us twice." We fly out there, hang out for like 2 weeks, and the tour of the Vatican, absolutely unequivocally, was probably the most impactful thing that I did over there. Unbelievable, unreal. But also, when you go to the Vatican, the basement is the Pope Mobile Museum. That's right. They have a museum of all the different Pope mobiles, starting with, I swear to God, sorry, Lord, I swear to the Lord on high, including stagecoach Pope mobiles. Yep. And the famous white one that I remember as a kid, John Paul II traveling around, is also in the basement. But it starts with stagecoaches. I promise you, bro. Like, they were protecting the Pope since the stagecoach days, right? Unbelievable, right? I knew you guys would freaking love this. Anything? Oh, no way, bro. This day in history, the eruption of Mount St. Helens. And here's what's amazing. I was born in 1976. I remember at age 4, this being on the news. Age 4. You talk about things that completely shape, because it was like such a, and what else is hysterical? As a kid, I remember during the summer, the Iran Contra hearings with Ollie North. As a kid, I remember that too, which was the early 80s. Okay. But the eruption of Mount St. Helens, right there, bro, would it claim 57 lives out of Washington State. Dude, it literally was all over the world's news. It was literally the entire world went dark, which is also what they're basically talking about what happened with Antarctica in the early 1800s. Like around 1816, there was a huge global blackout. And then in 1820, weirdly, 4 years later, Tartaria, which was where Antarctica is at, and they've got that thing mapped since the 1500s, was then basically encapsulated with a 1 mile thick block of ice. And basically, 3 countries all showed up at the same time and said, "Oh my God, what is this place? We've never been here before. We're calling it Antarctica." It's like, okay, it's basically the same exact letters of Tartaria, but spelled Antarctica. Like literally, that literally happened. Go look it up. You can go check it out yourself. But that happened, the eruption of Mount St. Helens. So that was probably the second biggest global thing. 1800s, 1816 was the biggest. During the 1900s, I don't know if the Mount St. Helens will go down in history in the 1900s as the biggest eruption, but it was one of the biggest, if it wasn't the biggest. 1969, the launch of the Apollo 10. NASA launched the dress rehearsal for the moon landing today, 1969. That's right. And weirdly enough, you don't recognize any of these astronauts. Thomas Stafford, John Young, and Eugene Cernan. Yeah, they took the lunar module down to within 8 nautical miles of the lunar surface. No way. Can you imagine being the guys, and you're like, you guys are the dress rehearsal, the guys after you are like doing the opening night. And you're like, right. But so you're saying history will never write about my name, but you have to do my mission first before we can send these guys. Correct. You're going to be invisible. History will never talk about you. But quite honestly, you guys have a way more important mission than the guys after you. Okay. Where do I sign up for that deal? Like, honestly, how stinky. They spent your whole life, you're an astronaut, and like, okay, we're gonna draw straws. You're gonna be the most famous astronaut on Earth, guy that lands, or the short straw, you're going there right before, and you're gonna be history completely forgets about you. But honestly, it's even worse because you have a higher chance of dying. You're like, oh dear Lord, okay. Short straw, dang it. Like just imagine everything has to happen on that day. Can we talk about the national days? We got some big ones today, man. International Museum Day. By the way, I know this sounds super nerdy, but man, there's something magical about going to museums and just seeing I don't know, I love seeing excellence and I love seeing people who have talent and skill utilizing talent and skill. I just love it in all elements and all areas. Whether it's a 100-meter yard like a sprinter, I say 100-meter yard, what am I, an idiot? Like I'm covering everything, right? The 100-yard dash, or is it the 100-meter? I don't freaking know. But sprinters love it. F1 drivers love it. Astronauts love it. Museum people that can make art love it. Like, just love it. I just love excellence. So, International Museum Day. That's a biggie. But remember, you guys in the comments, we have to rate gold, silver, bronze. Okay. We also have, and I'm not even saying this is a big one. Okay. National No Dirty Dishes Day. What? What? No way. I mean, okay, that's good and all, but is that like, man, it's also, listen, okay. National Cheese Souffle Day. Okay. So here we go. International Museum Day, Supply Chain Professionals Day, No Dirty Dishes Day, National Cheese Souffle Day. We already know there's somebody's got to have the gold, silver, and the bronze, and there's going to be the substitute here, the alternative. All right. Do we all believe that anything dealing with cheese, I don't know, man. Like, okay, you know what? I love museums. I'm going to put that as gold. I do not anticipate you guys doing that, but I'll put that as gold. And to be honest with you, we can't even function without our suppliers. So I'm going to put Supply Chain Professionals Day. These are the people that basically keep us moving and in business. I'm putting them in as the silver. And then, you know what? I do love cheese, by the way, but I also appreciate that my wife appreciates dishes done in the morning. So to save face, I'm going to put that as the third option. I'm going to do that as the bronze. And that is the National No Dirty Dishes Day, which means when I finish up today, I'm going to have those dishes done before she gets home today. And she'd be like, oh my God. Oh, first of all, I do it all the time, by the way. So this is not a once ever. It's most days dishes are done before she wakes up. Not today, but it's because I got a test after here, after I do this, and I'd be studying all morning for that. But, but, what did you guys think of this day in history? Pretty amazing, huh? And by the way, you guys know that the purpose of this show is for us business builders, mom and pop venti shop owners. We need like a daily church service. We get to go to work, come in here, hang out for 20, 30 minutes, get encouraged, man. You should be inspired, encouraged. You should laugh a little. You should learn a little. My purpose here is that this is basically kind of like the little shot of spiritual caffeine that we need on the way to work to get our teeth kicked in because we have the hardest job on planet Earth, in my opinion. But we do this show for you guys. And by the way, if you guys need help with anything with your business consulting, strategy, accounting, payroll, whatever it is, you can go to accountingplusaccountability.com, accountingplusaccountability.com. And up in the header is a little gold button that says talk with AA Ron. That's me. Schedule time to talk with me about whatever you want to talk about. You can scroll down a little bit, ask a question, talk about that. We're here for you guys. We'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Now, can we jump into this day, like this, like we just did this day in history, but now we need to talk about the juicy news coming in today. And we know today being Monday, May 18th. So this news is hot off the press and it's juicy. Oh, it's juicy. Oh, it's juicy news. Yes, it is. All right. While the big box corporate giants are fixated on high level international trade talks, the local village economy is securing massive tactical wins at the pump, on the shop floor, and on your tax forms. We're tracking an unprecedented White House fuel tax push that could instantly slash your shipping and distribution costs, paired with an aggressive SBA pivot that's completely reshaping the regulatory landscape, from a major Supreme Court liability curveball hitting your freight logistics to a massive $600,000 tax credit upgrade for employee retention. Here is our mission critical intel to protect your margins. Let's jump into our news, shall we? Starting with the biggest story of the day, in my opinion, because the gas prices are literally the talk of the town. Everybody's talking about it. And we know, I mean, how much of the world's oil comes out of that one strait. And yes, it's under blockade. And trust me, it's hurting Iran way more than it's hurting us. But a lot's happening there. And that's why gas prices are freaking $4 a gallon, man. I mean, everywhere we go, even in the Midwest, go down south, Texas, Oklahoma, always the cheapest fuel. No, man, we're just under $4 a gallon. And most of the country's like, what? Under $4? That's literally where we're at normally. And I'm like, I hear you, but it's all relative. Okay. We're all paying 100% more. Okay. All of us are. But the Trump administration's officially announced support for a temporary suspension of federal gas tax collections. 18.3 cents per gallon for gas and 24.3 cents for diesel. That's right, people. Now, why is it a big deal to us? This is instant relief for our local delivery routes and service vehicles. And remember, guys, all of us that basically have to have a product delivered to us that we get to basically sell, that we call COGS, that product, that invoice is going to have a fuel charge, a fuel surcharge. There will be an additional cost to deliver that product to you, because from the tariff to the producer, from the producer to you, which is the retailer, okay, it has to be marked up. And that's why I tell you guys, man, your number one responsibility as the owner of the business is to evaluate your cost of goods. You got to do it regularly, especially if you've got a volatile product that changes all the time. For most of our vendors, we do it quarterly, but sometimes we do it monthly. Okay, because sometimes they change that much. What else is going on in the news today? Supreme Court expands freight broker liability. This is a big deal. In a major ruling in Montgomery versus Carib Transport, the U.S. Supreme Court declined to protect the shipping industry from state level lawsuits concerning negligent hiring practices. The NFIB expressed deep disappointment, warning that the decision shatters uniform national transportation standards in favor of a fragmented state by state liability system. And by the way, I'm not discounting this, but the bottom line is everybody's got to be held accountable to do it right. Okay. If your business relies on third party brokers or external carriers to move raw material or finished products, prepare for a pricing ripple. Independent logistics experts warn that the loss of national standard shields will quickly push broker insurance premiums higher, translating directly into increased freight rates for small shippers. We already know higher cost has to be passed to somebody, which is always the customer. It's the customer or the consumer, but it's one of them. Bro, you want to know what else is going on in Dinos today? Bro, Dickie Bush, you guys know I talk about this dude basically daily. One of my favorite follows on X. Puts this thing out. It puts a post out. I spent over 1,000 hours learning to write effectively because college completely failed to teach me. Here's everything I learned distilled into 11 tweets that you can start applying today. Number one, it's a byproduct. That's right. So, meaning his ability to write is not something he sits down to do. It's the byproduct of how he engineers his day to be at optimal writing. It's a byproduct. The same way we talk about if your idea is to be rich, those that want to be net rich never will be. Money only follows contribution, right? Same thing here. It's a byproduct, which is writing consistently, daily, consistently. We talk about this every day. Routine is the key. Consistency sets you free. Routine is the key. Consistency of that routine sets you free, right? He says you got to be consistent. He takes long walks, blocks the internet from distraction. He captures ideas everywhere. We talk about I built a file index retrieval system I call FIRS 15, 20 years ago. I don't know anybody that has better mental flypaper than I do. And we all know crazy ADHDers can't stop having ideas. This dude has ideas, and I can exactly where to put it, what notebook in Evernote, underneath what note under the note, everything gets stored, and it can be recalled in typically 2 to 5 seconds. Yep. Reading high quality sources. And we went from reading books to reading online. We went from reading to watching. Basically, everything on YouTube is basically like short form documentaries. Most of everything on YouTube is teaching you something. We just went from reading to watching, but we're all learning. Spending time without the phone, 100%, man. It's a byproduct. Something else. There will never be a perfect time to start writing. So his mindset, the once I dot dot dot, then I'll start writing, is the ultimate form of procrastination. To be honest with you, I just came up with this. The once I, then I'll start, right? It's actually the ultimate, it's basically the porn of procrastination. That's right. The delayed, it's basically what everybody does, everybody consumes it, and that's how they do it. Once everything's perfect, it's all going to be dialed in. That's right. Yeah. Once work slows down, once I feel like I'm ready, once this project wraps up, but the once will always be there. So get started today. I gotta be honest with you guys. One of my good friends, I've known him since I was in middle school. So I started earlier this year a peer advisory group. And by the way, we offer these for all of our business owners. We're the only accounting firm on earth that actually does this because we prioritize you profiting next month as much as we do about documenting your transactions from last month. And my buddy, literally since high school, was like a Matt Damon and Ben Affleck that was writing movie scripts back then. The talent in his pinky basically is more than most of us have in our whole body, except he has a crippling fear of failure, and so he uses the once excuse constantly. And here we are, we're 50, and he hasn't finished it or started it or done anything with it in decades and never will, right? Because his life has to be perfect. And so he was like, dude, when you do this peer advisor group, I got to be in, bro. And I was like, cool, man. We'll have this thing. We'll have your movie finished at the end of the first 12-week session. Mark my words. He's like, oh, sweet, love it, can't wait. You know. And so, um, yeah. Then literally, uh, the week that we're supposed to start, he sends a text, and we do it Thursdays during lunch on purpose because everyone can basically carve that time out. Everyone can, you know. If you have a job, you can carve it out. And week one, oh, bro, I'm really tied down with work. Week two, oh man, I can't make it today. Week three, he won't return my phone calls. Yep, that's happening right now. Because the once I, then I'll start dot 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 is literally the worst procrastination technique ever, and everybody uses it for everything. Same thing for working out, same thing for everything. Eating right. Once blah blah blah, then I'll start blah blah blah, right? It's the if then this will happen, right? When writing, stop trying to write something to everyone. Instead, be specific and pinpoint your one ideal reader. Use specific examples, solve a specific problem, unlock a specific benefit, create a specific emotion, encourage a specific action. Specificity wins. Stop thinking of it as writing. Instead, think of it of your writing like a startup. Um, Copywriting is simple. Point out a specific problem. Like for me, writing is a journal for me. It's like my journal entry. And because I write directly to me, which is the mom and pop venti shop owner, everything that I do is for me, which means it's for a very specific target niche that we go after, which is the brick and mortar service based mom and pop venti shops. Us that have, 1 to 20 employees. Venti does not mean large Starbucks, it means 20, 1 to 20 employees. That's why venti drinks are 20 some odd ounces. That's right. What else does he say? You should write about two things that are obvious to you now, but weren't 2 years ago, and things that are confusing to you now, but you want to better understand in 2 years. Freaking genius. Absolutely genius, bro. Writing and editing are different processes. Writing is all about addition, getting raw material. Editing is about subtraction. And I tell you, for me, and I don't mind writing, but my ADD brain thinks of it like as a Mount Everest rather than like an anthill. And so, because of that, how I write, and you guys know, maybe you don't know, but I'm finishing up writing my very first book that I've been working on for 2 years. It's what I'm working on with my peer advisory group. And it's a book called The Mama Pop Venti Shop Survival Guide: How to Keep the Seven Plates Spinning. And you guys know we talk about the seven plates of business basically daily on the show. And I had the book basically 90% ready for 2 years, but it just been stuck because it's the last piece of it, which is the editing. But my brain makes that a Mount Everest. So the peer advisory group really gives you three purposes. One, it gives you clarity on what you want to get done and accomplish over the next, 12 weeks, because you work in 12-week sessions. Two, holds you accountable to that, because it's a basically it's your own like board of directors. It's your own executive council, but they're all business owners, and we're all working on our own stuff. And so we hold each other accountable. And number three, they help you minimize mistakes, especially the ones that cost you money. That's right. Big, big stuff. And so for me, um, writing, finishing the book, so much of it is in me talking, transcribing, and because of AI, I can grab the transcripts and use that, and basically turn and use that and modify it and do the editing to turn that into my chapters. But now, because of technology, we can just speak it, grab a transcript, use that as the baseline, right? He also says you don't have to be an expert to write about something. In fact, people struggle to learn from experts because they're too far ahead, right? I always say, like, I've been doing this same thing for most of my life. We've failed so many times. We kind of figure out how to do some of this stuff right. So we fail every day. We fail forward every day. If you want to write consistently, you need to capture ideas everywhere. And you'll see, man, my Evernote system, and my Google Keeps app literally is where I capture everything. Everything's captured on my phone. Whiteboards in the shower, notebooks all over the place. Once your mind trusts you have an idea, that's right. This is what Dickie's saying. And you hear me say this all the time. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it, which is the same thing with the creative space. I remember when I was in ministry, I was bivocational for 10 years, from 2006 to 2016. 26, very, very difficult year for me as a dad. My dad was dying of cancer that year. It was just a big year. And so I stepped back from ministry, from being bivocational to just monocational or unicational vocational. And then, but those last few years, I was just going from task to task to task to task. I was working in everything, not working on anything. And I didn't have any more space for creative ideas. So my brain turned off my ability to make ideas. That's the way the brain works. The brain does not like you being miserable. And misery only happens from comparison. So if you're constantly comparing yourself to something else, your mind's like, this is not good for you. And it stops doing that one thing to help you suffer less. Okay. And so I ended up, it was like 3 months after I got out of ministry, oddly enough, driving by the church. And I left, by the way, on great terms, still great friends with all the senior leadership there. It was something I had to do because the season of life that I was in, and nothing to do with the team I was serving with, the mission that we had, the church I was at. They're still the greatest people on planet Earth, humans that I know. But 3 months later, I'm driving by, and all of a sudden, I get an idea, and I pull over, I start crying, because my entire life, that's what I've had, and those few years, I lost it. And when I got it back, I said, I will never allow this to be gone again, ever. You have to create the space for creativity to flow. Why do you think I'm obsessive about the first morning of the day I call my roaming time? You live on 5 acres and you got the hound dog. As soon as you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, the dog's got to go outside. He spends a lot of time out there roaming the 5 acres. No, no agenda. Just go and sniff. Just go sniff the world, man. Go look and go see and sniff. First hour every day, I just go see and sniff. And that 1 hour, and it set a 1 hour timer, and that's partly the reason why I wake up so early, is to give me my I call it me time, but it's my mental roaming, so I can get everything else done during the day that I need. But I have to have that time. You have to create that space. That's what Dickie says. Once your mind trusts you can have ideas anywhere, it's free to be creative, and you'll soon be overwhelmed with ideas. And it's 100% true. Also says if your goal is to accelerate your personal growth, writing is the most effective tool. That's right. Journaling and getting it out, 100%. And lastly, the single best piece of writing advice: be clear, not clever. Your attempt to be clever leads to nothing but confusion. And the second your reader's confused, they're back to TikTok and Netflix. Thank you, Dickie. You, my friend, are a genius. Yes, you are. Appreciate you so much. What else is going on in the news today? Bro, Google published a long piece about optimizing your website for generative AI features on Google search. You guys know that Gemini, Notebook, and all of their tools, Canvas, Nana Banana, all that stuff is searching Google. So you really have to do a good job of making sure that your site is dialed in specifically for Google. Okay. So ensure that you get that done. Thank you. It was actually on X by Gagan Gostra. Great read, by the way. Great read. Okay. What else is going on in the news today? Oh, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act unleashes $600,000 child care tax credits for small business. Now, we've been talking about this the last few months. Okay. But basically doubled to 600,000. Okay. Where eligible businesses with gross receipts under 32 million can now claim an immediate 50% tax credit on qualified employee childcare subsidies or faculty partnerships, which is also really cool because we know, like my son right now, like his wife's a nurse practitioner. He's like, does well at this construction company. They make nice six figures. Their baby, cutest grandbaby ever, she's like 5 months old. And she goes to childcare 3 days a week. And it is $1,500 a month. 500, what is that? 1,500 a month is what? Six times four, four times four, 350, $400 a week. Basically, $100 a day. That's right. $100 a day is what it costs you to put a kid in decent childcare. Not the best Montessori in town, not the one all the billionaire, all the rich people in town go to. No, no, just a decent childcare facility 3 days a week, $1,500 a month. So now for small employers, it's a powerful weapon for talent acquisition. To be able to get top talent, you got to offer great benefits, right? Now we can offer tax subsidized childcare benefits that really match or even kind of outperform the corporate competitors. Obviously, they have more profit. Obviously, they have more benefits, but this allows us to just be a little closer to even. We're definitely not even close, but it's still really, really awesome that that is something that we can do, right? What else is going on in the news today, man? The Trump-backed Christian draws thousands to the National Mall for America's 250th anniversary. Bro, really, really cool. And look, obviously, this dude's a Jesus freak, not religious, but definitely a Jesus. And it's because the dude changed my life, man. You can't hang out with that dude, act like that dude, worship that dude. When I say worship, I mean like emulating him, not reading about him, and then like saying, "Oh my God, he's amazing," but not actually doing what he did. I mean like actually emulating, which is the greatest form of worship, or really of flattery. Is um, imitating is the greatest form of flattery. And 95% of Christians don't act like Jesus whatsoever, which is oddly enough. These are all the people that are judging everybody else and calling themselves Christian. Oddly enough, not acting anything like the dude that started the whole thing. Weird, right? But hey, National Day, 250,000, 250th anniversary. What else happened, bro? Oh, bro, we had a mid-air collision. Two F-18 fighters crashed at an Idaho air show. No way, F-18, F-18. I always say F-A-18 because some of them are to do fighter and attack, which is air and ground. This is F-18s. Crashed at Mountain Home Air Force Base. All four crew members ejected safely. Amazing. Prompting a base lockdown in emergency response, obviously. We don't play around with that stuff. Oh, bro, look. No way. Trump warns Iran the clock is ticking as ceasefire remains shaky. President ramped up pressure on Tehran after clear peace talks with fresh reports of regional drone strikes and U.S. military posturing. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, bro. You don't play, man. Both of these countries do not play. Hmm. And the only thing that we're guaranteed of is what they're telling us while they're doing this is the thing that is the reason why they're not doing it. Okay. I think it's the only thing we can agree on is what they're telling us is not the real reason. I think we've all learned all of that. We're just basically fish in the sea of propaganda. We just swim amongst it, swim through it, swim around it. It's everywhere. All right. Ah, ongoing fallout from Trump Z summit in Beijing. Coverage continues on trade deals. Taiwan warnings, and she's reported offer to help broker an Iran deal. Yes. Okay. Good. So I don't understand. I guess, there's always tension that we come together, we hang out, we shake hands, we smile a lot for a few days, and then we leave, and then we go back to tensions because we're also one of the major superpowers. So there has to always be this tension where you keep your, friends close and your enemies closer, right? I mean, that's literally 101 dictatorship, right? But, big, big stuff, man. Severe weather threat looms over the plains and the Midwest. Bro, we were up there a couple weeks ago, man, and it just dumped on us all the way back from the Missouri office all the way home. And we tried to bypass it going through Arkansas. No, we caught it. We caught it. But no, bro, the Midwest, this is the worst place. And honestly, when you're driving on 35 through like Oklahoma and then Kansas, honestly, more Oklahoma, which is like just as south of Oklahoma City, is the tornado capital, I think, of the world, for sure the US. It is the flattest place with no trees anywhere in Tornado Alley. The reason why you get the biggest ones there is because if you've got rolling hills or trees, that tends to slow down air. But if you have flat and no trees, um, I don't understand unless every human being that lives in Moore also has their own basement storm shelter. It's the only reason you would ever live there. I remember after that huge Moore tornado happened, I think it was in 2013, driving by and seeing the access road, pulled over and literally saw the 1 mile wide, flat, nothing but concrete pads. And right next to it was a church. Didn't even have like a blade of grass out of place. I swear, bro. Right next door. The church is still there. And Moore's been hit by two enormous, way more than two, but two enormous tornadoes. Enormous. Like one was like in '09, the other was like 2013, or maybe it was like, I don't know, it was like around then. I don't know, but two huge ones. Okay. So be careful, Midwest. Okay. Because this is bad, bad season for us, man. Luckily, we leave in a couple weeks, kind of getting toward the end of that, starting the 1st of June, which is still hot, but not blistering hot. And of course, the more north we go, the cooler the temperatures go. So we start in Texas and we end up in DC, and through there we hit some, rolling hills and some mountains and temperature changes and some, I don't know, it's going to be really, really cool. I'm really excited about it. But I knew that you guys would be like down with like this day in the news and everything. What else is going on? Man, what a great day in news, right? Well, look, you know that it is Magical Monday, right? And so you know that we've got to do a couple dad jokes, and this is what we do. Magical Monday. We say those dad jokes for right after the juicy news, and you have no idea the amazing Scott Adams reframe that's coming up here in a few minutes. But in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, is that we do this show every day for us mom and pop Venti shop owners. We're just basically a bunch of misfits, and so this show is for all of us misfits to come and hang out. And I figured I'm a misfit, and so I figured I'm doing this show for all of us, right? Remember the movie Bohemian Rhapsody, and the manager was interviewing Queen, and Freddie Mercury says, "Well, we're just a bunch of misfits, and so we basically just figure that there's some misfits out there, and we just play to them." And that's what this is. We all know that us mom and pop Venti shop owners are just a bunch of misfits. We don't know why we do what we do. We, trust me, wish that when we come back and we get reincarnated, we all want to come back as Doug Heffernan from King of Queens. Like, just work at UPS, have a great pension, drink beer, play softball a couple times a week. That's the life we want when we come back. When we come back and we get another chance, we want to be the opposite. Go work at Lockheed, go work at Boeing, and just ride it out, get a great pension, and don't know what to do with all of your money when you retire. Very easy, low stress life. But that's not the thing for us. And so for us, if you guys want to chat or discuss anything dealing with accounting or back office services, go to accountingplusaccountability.com. That's accountingplusaccountability.com. And look, you can schedule a time to talk with me. You can ask a question and we'll take care of everything, guys. But honestly, hopefully you guys get as much out of this show as I do. I absolutely love what we do. It sets my entire day, and it also helps me set my morning mark, like the most important thing for the day. Because of this show, I am like so much more productive. And if you want to know about our peer advisory groups or any of that stuff, just go to accountingplusaccountability.com. We're the only accounting firm on earth with a 2x profit guarantee because we spend as much time focusing on your profits of next month as we do on handling your transactions from last month. It's a partnership. The only way that we'll be here 20 years from now is to make sure that you're still here 20 years from now. You come first. You know, we're here to help you suffer less, to be ministry to you, mom and pop owner. But I've got some amazing dad jokes. I've got three. You guys know we got to rate them. We got to rank them. Gold, silver medal. You got to tell me in the comments, man. And remember our handshake agreement. That was us basically shaking hands with a rubber glove. If you guys laugh or learn today, then you guys know your deal in this agreement is you gotta like and subscribe. You know that, and it's a new channel, so YouTube loves it when you guys do that. But everything that you guys do really helps, and I just really appreciate you guys believing in what we do and listening and viewing what we do. It just means the world to me. But I know that you guys are gonna have a great time with these dad jokes. And how about this? Number one, what do you call an elephant that just doesn't matter? 3, 2, 1. We call it irrelevant. Oh, oh, oh. All right, you guys got to tell me. Is it a 1, 2, or 3 woot joke? Okay, we don't know yet. I'm going to give you the next one. My great grandfather got his tongue shot off in the war, and it's weird, man, because he never talks about it. Come on, bro. Come on. You know. And how about this one? Man, everybody thinks you're so cool. But man, this is a little cooler. What? Mm-hmm. The 3. Come on now. 3 woots. Everybody says you're cool, but this is a little cooler. Come on, bro. I know you loved it. Did you guys dig it, man? What'd you guys think, man? Let's jump into our Scott Adams reframe of the day because I told you guys it is powerful. You guys are going to love it. And you guys know that every single day we read from a chapter from Scott Adams' book. I call him our modern day oracle. He's my pops number 3. And he wrote this book the year before he passed away. I'm pretty confident he knew he had prostate cancer and wanted to write the most powerful book he ever wrote. And these are just reframes. It doesn't make sense why they work. They just work. When the brain hears it, it's changed forever. And it doesn't make sense why they work. They just work. And we know we do these every day. And one of these, it just makes sense. It's going to change your life. And if it does, let us know in the comments, man. But today, we're talking about reciprocity. And it's Magic Monday. We're looking into the blue lens today, man. Why do you think we're wearing blue? Blue lens. Magical Monday, the blue lens, not the red lens, the blue lens, right? If you can find a way to provide value to someone at a low or reasonable cost to yourself, you can create an asset out of nothing. Humans are wired to reciprocate. Do a favor for someone who has access to many resources, someone who hires people, someone who knows a lot of people, and your odds of someday getting something tangible in return are very good. And remember, you don't do it to be received. You do it because you want to, you feel like it, and understand that this is a byproduct of you guys operating at a reciprocity. Okay, being returned back to you is a byproduct, but if you do it for the sole purpose of being paid back, you're going to miss the byproduct and it won't happen. I know it sounds weird. It's going to happen. It's like those that want to be rich never will be. Money only follows contribution. right? So the money happens after you do something. So when you operate of a spirit of reciprocity, the byproduct is people do things for you. It's not why you do it, but it's a byproduct. Don't give something for nothing. Giving triggers reciprocity. Dude, giving triggers reciprocity. What a huge lesson, bro. Huge. I mean, honestly, um, that movie, Pay It Forward with Haley Joel Osment. What a great, great movie. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, go rent it. It's fantastic. It's a sad meaning. I don't say it's sad, but these movies that basically have deep meanings tend to be like, pull out your heartstrings. That is definitely one of those. And so, but I would recommend for you guys today, it's Magical Monday. The the world wants to beat you up, but have a different mindset. Give today. Somebody's upset, no big deal. Give them some love. You know, you just kind of feel like you're at Starbucks. I don't know why. I just want to, buy the person stuff behind me. I just want to help somebody suffer less today. Okay, that is the purpose of Magical Monday. What'd you guys think of today's show, man? Did you guys dig it? Was it the best Magical Monday you guys have ever seen? I know it was good, really good. That is just a damn good time. Just, I swear, bro. We're gonna have so much freaking fun, bro, on this bike ride. The biking will not be fun, but the time that we have before and after, it's gonna be fun. Especially when we're going to the mountains, bro. The Appalachians. There's not a lot of fun times there, but that's at the end. But what'd you guys think, man? Best up another episode of Business for Breakfast. I want you guys to look. Don't just be working in your business. Carve out the time to work on your business. Make sure you're minding your own business. All right, my business builders, you got the news, the tips and tricks. Now go own this day. My name is Aaron Novinger, the Venti Business Guy, and you guys know what time it is. What time is it, man? It's time to get to work.